Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking the link or the thumbnail that brought you here. I am so excited to have you here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 4 different ways you can go from the F1 to a green card as an international student in the US. If you did not know, I am a molecular biology PhD student here in the US, and I'm an international student because I am from Nigeria. So I think about these things a lot, and so I'm here to share just research I have done over the years on this topic. If this is the kind of content you're interested in, then please do well to subscribe. If you're new, share this video with all of the people who would like to see it, and let's get into it. First, why is there so much fuss about the green card? Well, when you have a green card in the United States, you are, first of all, just one more step to becoming a citizen. And also, there's so many benefits, including ease of traveling, not needing visas to many countries. Literally, almost all the countries that an American citizen can access without needing visa, you with a green card would also be able to access without needing visa. You can also go back to your home country and not worry about having to renew your visa to come back into the US. And that's a plus, because as an F1 holder, you know that when you leave the United States with your visa expired, you have to renew that visa. Now that we have longer wait times, you have to go through those long wait times before you can come back in, because you have to have a valid visa to come back in. Another benefit is that you can apply for a wide range of jobs. There are some jobs that will not offer you employment if you do not have a permanent residence or citizenship status. So that gives you a wide number of jobs you can apply for. You can also file a green card for your dependents, like your spouse, your kids, and also your parents. So those are all of the benefits that you get from getting a green card. So that's why people are very interested in it. That's why it looks like such a big deal, just because of the benefits. So let's get into the various ways you can get a green card as an international student on F1. Now, the first way I'm going to be talking about is the employment-based method. So there is the usual method where people who are on F1 usually will proceed to the OPT, which is the optional practical training, after their F1 has expired. Maybe they are done with schooling. And so if you are a if you were a STEM student, or you studied a STEM course, by STEM I mean science, technology, engineering, and maths, then you would be eligible for a 3-year OPT, which you can use to work wherever. When your OPT expires or is about to expire, your employer may be able to file something called the H-1B for you, which is both a work and residing visa. And that is actually a lottery-based visa system, and there's usually a cap for the H-1B. Now, with that, if it goes through and you're successful, I think H-1Bs are about 3 years or 5 years. And after H-1B, people would usually convert from H-1B to a green card on the basis that their employers filed for them. So that's the regular part. But the employment-based method I'll be telling you about is actually different from just the H-1B to green card method. So it is called the EB1, which is the first preference employment-based visa. There are certain categories that you have to fulfill, and you do not need an employer to actually file for you, but you have to have extraordinary ability, either in music, in arts, in science, in business. You have to have awards like the Nobel Prize or one of the Academy Awards. So you have to really, really be extraordinary for you to get this EB1 visa. But the good thing with this is that when you fulfill those requirements of 1, being extraordinary, having an extraordinary ability, and 2, having that ability that will be of national interest to the United States, Once you can fulfill those two, you do not need an employer to file for you. So you can actually self-petition. So that's the good part about the EB1 visa. We also have another category under the employment-based visa. So that is the EB2 visa. Now, all of these categories are mentioning once you get approved and you fill the correct forms, you get a green card. So it's very direct. You don't have to go through H1B just like we usually do, or most people do. So with the EB2 visa, that's also an employment-based visa. But with that one, the stakes are a bit lower with the EB2 visa. And the reason is that for this, what you need to show is that you have an advanced degree or you're a professional in your field. So basically, do you have a master's or a PhD degree? But not just that. For you to self-petition, you need to go through the NIW route, which is the National Interest Waiver route. So what that means is that you need to be showing that whatever you're skilled at, whatever you have an advanced degree at, whatever you are a high professional at, you need to show that it is of national interest to the United States. And not only is it of national interest, they need to be able to waive something called the labor certification that is usually required for employment-based visas. They need to be able to waive that certification on your behalf. Usually, the labor certification says that there is no other person in the United States that can do the work that you're doing. And that is usually filed by employers. But you now with the EB2, you can be self-petitioning. That means you will be pleading a case to the Department of State. And basically what you're saying is that I have so much experience with this. I have XYZ skill. I have this advanced degree. And this already shows that I am well suited for this endeavor. So for instance, you are a researcher. You do diabetes research, for instance. So you want to show that in America, there is a need for more researchers doing diabetes. I do this and I have this degree that makes me well capable of doing it. And I have this track record of maybe publications and just other things that shows that I have what it takes to be able to carry out this endeavor. And so you self-petition. Of course, there's some more details, but this is just to give you a summary of what it is. So I have mentioned the EB1, which is where you need like a Nobel Prize or just be exceptionally smart in different fields, or like an Oscar or an AMA award. But with this one now, which is the EB2, it's majorly advanced degree or a long professional work experience with a bachelor's. Okay, so let's go to the EB3. So the EB3 is also another employment-based method, but this one, only your employer can file for you. You cannot self-petition. So you can self-petition for EB1 and EB2, but you can't self-petition for EB3. EB3 is basically for skilled workers and other professionals. So with EB3, you do not need to have an advanced degree. You can have just a bachelor's, and you can be just a skilled worker like a chef, a building constructing person, just things like that. However, you need to have 2 years work experience. And not only that, you also need your employer to show that in the US, there's no other person capable of doing the work that you do. So that means that you need to have some good skills. And again, you need to wait for your employers to file this. So out of these 3 employment-based visas that I've shared, there are 2 that you can self-petition, meaning that you don't need an employer for it, EB1 and EB2. I'm going to leave links in the description so that you can check out these different ways and figure out which one would apply to you best. Now, the next way you can get a green card from an F1 visa, which is by far the most popular way, is via marriage. So the clause with this is that you actually cannot file a marriage-related visa in the first 90 days of your arrival in the United States. I mean, you can file, but there's such statistics that have shown that there is less chance of that being approved, because it's like you're showing that you have mixed motives when you were coming. F1 visas are non-immigrants, meaning that you're not supposed to come here and become a permanent resident. So when you come in the first 90 days and you're already filing a marriage visa, that shows that you may have had mixed motives when you were coming. Okay, so again, I am not an immigration attorney. I'm just giving you research, so don't come and ask me how you can better your chances. I really don't know. I'm just telling you what is available on the internet, on the US Department of State website. Okay, so yes, marriage visa, that's the first, that's the most popular. Typically, people who file this would get a green card for 2 years at first, because the United States wants to be sure that your marriage is for real. And of course, there's a lot of scrutiny when you're filing your documents. You can either do it yourself or you can have a lawyer help you. There is a lot of scrutiny. They are gonna try to be sure that you are really married for real. So put that in mind. So when you get your first green card, which is about 2 years, and then after that it will be renewed for 10 years. And I think once you've gotten a green card for 3 years under the whole marriage thing, you can now apply to get your citizenship. So that's how the marriage visas work. Because of fraud, there is a lot of scrutiny, but definitely one that people are still using. The third method for getting a green card from an F1 visa is going to be an asylum visa. So this is the one where you prove to the United States that you're in danger in your country. Usually you would need an immigration lawyer to do this. So maybe for whatever reason, maybe there is a war, maybe for whatever tribal, cultural reason, you are in danger in your country, you can plead for asylum and you'll be given a green card. Definitely less popular, because you need to be able to prove that you're actually in danger and how many people are really in danger. So that's where the clause is. But that's number 3. Okay, so we've shared employment based, we've shared marriage, and then asylum. Now the next one is going to be the lottery. This is the diversity visa lottery, typically known as the DV lottery, where basically you get selected on a lottery system. For this particular category, sadly, it is not open to countries where there's already high representation of those countries in the United States. Example, Nigeria. So we are not eligible as Nigerians. Indians, Chinese are also not eligible, as well as some other countries. So it's basically for underrepresented countries. However, when it opens up, which I think it normally does in October, you have the chance to fill in your details and then you may get selected. Winning the lottery, they say, doesn't always mean that you do get the green card. However, of course, it increases your chances, and not so many people in the US would play the lottery and not end up getting the green card. Maybe there has to be some serious issue for that to happen. So basically, the countries that are eligible have to go into a quota system. Each country is given a particular quota for the number of people that can be selected from that country for them to be able to get this lottery. It's definitely one of the easiest ways, but luck just has to be in your favor. The final method I'm going to be talking about is via the military. This is not always very accessible, because typically F1 students are not allowed to join the military. However, if you have some extraordinary skill, so again, it comes down to extraordinary skill that the military really needs, that can really help them, but they can't find that skill in the United States, then you will be eligible for that. So basically, once you join the military, you'll be given a green card, because you have to be a permanent resident for you to be in the military. So that is the final way. I hope that these tips have been helpful for you. I know that as F1 students, we're always thinking about these things. So I thought to make this video to just condense the information. when you go online, you're going to see so much more in terms of just what goes into each of these categories. And I'm actually happy to do the research and keep bringing you guys some of this information if you're interested in it. If you have any, no, don't ask me any immigration related questions because I am not a lawyer. But if you have any other video ideas concerning just this F1 to green card transition and even just life as an F1 student, let me know and I will try my best to film those videos. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you've not, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. So first, why is it necessary? Green card. Hey God. And for you to what is wrong with me?